Hey everybody, I'm Rousseau and I do a little work here and there. On today's episode of The Ready Ward, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. This is going to be the first in what I expect to be a long series on how to build modular tiles of my own design. Of course, since I do what I want, I'm starting with a setting that I quite enjoy, modern. And as you can see, we're starting with a sort of one-way street sort of thing. Since this is the first one, we're going to start with sort of the most basic thing, which would be a straight street. We will get into some more complicated things later, but for now, like I said, we're going to start simple. On the top, the tile has three main pieces. You see there's the raised sidewalk pieces on the side and the little road in the middle. Of course, I did say modular, so if you flip the tile over, then you can see that there are little, so I don't know what they are, a rhombus. It's like a half hourglass. The things you stick in, hourglass shaped. Otherwise, it is pretty simple. There is a link in the description to a template so you can make your own. If you let me pull this out of frame for just a second, then I can put some of those connectors in there. And yeah, sure enough, like I said, hourglasses. Each one is 2 layers of craft foam cut out using the template, again, that is linked below. Also, since I didn't mention it, each of these squares is 1.5 inches. I just like the scale. For the pieces, you're going to have these long rectangle pieces with notches and these smaller rectangles that together form the sidewalks. Also 4 of these really long bits that sort of go around the edge of the whole tile. Then you got this big square that goes on top of the base but below all of the street layers we're going to add on. Of course, that's actually followed by the street bit that has all the little cracks in it. Then you have the square with notches out, and that is the bottom of the base of the tile. You're also going to use it to cut out a bit of cardboard, foam core, whatever you put in the middle. And speaking of cardboard that goes in the middle, would you look at that? This is 2 pieces of single corrugation cardboard. Works out to something like 3/16 of an inch. It's basically standard foam core, or pretty close to it. But we're going to get all this stuff out of the way, and we're going to start by making the sidewalks. Each sidewalk is made of 3 of these long bits on the bottom, and 5 sets of 3 of these shorter bits on the top. You put it together, and it looks sort of like this, and it gives you just enough relief where you can see where exactly all of those squares are. Now, before you put too much more together, you probably want to put the actual base of the tile. The easiest way I find to do this is to put those long side pieces onto the base, slide your cardboard thing in, and then glue the top on. Don't forget to put glue in the bottom of the bottom piece as well, or it just won't be connected there. With the base put together, you will be able to interlock the pieces with those little foam things I was talking about. After that, putting the rest of the thing together is pretty much fair game, though I would start with the street level and then add the sidewalk. And then you can get these little U-shaped things I don't think I mentioned before, and they go on top of the grates that are carved into the street level, and they give them just a little bit of extra relief. And I think I'm going to cut a circle right about here and put a manhole cover there, so this one will be a little bit different from the one that I already built. And you know, I'll just make it the same size as a standard base. Why not? You know, since I've already designed a manhole cover that size. So what does it look like once you've put all of that together? Well, answer, it looks a little bit like, well, this. And while I know it's a little difficult to see once I set it down because it's white still and everything, I'm going to show you sort of what it looks like when you butt it up against the other one. Yeah, you just take these foam bits and you set one down on top of the other and shake it around a little bit, and it seats pretty well. You got a bit of play, but if you knock into a table or something, nothing's really going to get out of square, I don't think. I mean, here I'm picking it up so you can see the detail a little better, but this is a modified open ground terrain design, and when they're a little bit bigger, they end up holding it together really well. The only thing that's really left for this is to paint it, and the first step of that, which I'll show, I guess, is to base coat it in black. Once it's base coated in black, there's not a whole lot of extra work to do. You're just going to have to match the grays here. So basically it's black and white to make a medium gray for the road, and then a lighter gray for the sidewalks. The little grates, I do a metallic copper, and over that I just do a standard brown to make it less metallic. And for the big reveal, hey, it probably looks about like you thought it was going to look, except, you know, it's got that manhole cover on it. And you can put these in any sort of configuration you want. You could attach one to the side of the other one, but the thing that makes the most sense here is to have them in a line because they're both straight street pieces. And I think after this, probably the next one is going to be a corner piece, and then after that maybe a crossroads, and then I'm going to have to move on to either narrower alleyways or two-lane streets. Neither one will be that difficult, it's just a variation on this. I guess the back alleys could be brick, but the two-lane streets are just moving around the pieces that are on this, and then having two of them, I guess. But I think that is about it for this one. Again, the templates are in the description below. The tile measures 7.5 by 7.5 inches, and it is 5 by 5 1.5 inch squares. The 1.5 inch squares are good too, especially if you use 40mm based models, which I occasionally do, especially when I'm playing Blood Bowl, which I think these street pieces are going to be pretty good for, with a few modifications and a couple extra pieces that I'll have to build later. Regardless, rate and comment if you haven't subscribed if you're so inclined. This is the Ready Ward, and I'm Roselle, out.